Welcome everyone. The talent management model. This is what we are going to discuss in today's video. Exactly understand the various model that comes around it or the ideal model for talent management. What does talent management aims to? First thing and foremost thing that we must address. First, it is all about succession planning perspective. What this is meant by identifying credible people, keeping them in the pipeline, grooming them at the all the time and ensuring that they deliver when the organization business plan demands so that is what talent management aims to. Next is workforce segmentation perspective, developing people that make biggest differences to the businesses, particularly those with potential to work at the very highest of all levels. We are trying to have people functioning in a particular department and ensuring that department achieves the pinnacle of its operation, developing people that make the biggest of the difference individually in every department. Thereby we're talking about maximizing contribution perspective, retaining employee, engaging employee, and not every employee the best employee. At no cost the best employee can be left in lurch altogether. Workforce planning perspective, generating information about talent, demand and supply so that the organization can be fit for the present or future. Workforce planning perspective is very important. Then we have to understand the organization performance perspective, developing capabilities of people across the levels as on when on required. This is what we should be achieving, driving for the organizational performance perspective. Embed business driven process to identify potential winner, process perspective as the case might be, ensuring everything is in place. Then we'll have the individual perspective, having the communication channel open come what may. The communication channel will evolve over a period of time to understand both the requirements of the organization and the individual, their interests, their aspirations thereby. So where do your talent management focuses upon? 46% tells on attracting and developing, retaining key professional technicians, recruiting high potential entrants in the early part of their career is 60%. 62% of them saying to develop every employee as and when the opportunity arises. 74%, that means more than three-fourths of an organization has high potential numbers of level career stages. A pipeline of potential senior management is what 80% believes to be out there. The trends in talent management, if we are to state it, what are the trends? Allow me to mention them one at a time. Closer integration with the business strategy, the talent management integration with the business strategy, making as on when on basis, increasing levels of engagement of senior people in the global and functional talent reviews, having the best resources coming from different geographies, irrespective of where you are working around it. The best will deliver the best result per se. So increasing level of engagement of senior levels, senior peoples, right from global and functional talent reviews, more robust potential assessment using consistent process such as the 9 box grid model that we have said from time to time, more robust potential assessment, interest in broader range of talent group, for example, as the case might tell you, the technical specialist, the software specialist, uh, you name it and we can have it, everything that goes around it. If it is in the medical world, the surgeon, whoever is working in whichever organs that they excel in, need to understand talent management challenges, high growth emerging markets at the time being, shift towards employee centric approaches to talent management, understand that employee as a human being, try to corner and address every issue that is legible. So differentiated talent management, the critical factors are leaders are engaged, from leaders being engaged to leaders being enabled, and it goes on and on. And leaders engage are individual focuses, clear scope and purposes, effective process and measures, forecasting capacity, capability, development and deployment of talent is what we are looking forward to as far as differentiated talent management. First and foremost thing is the business context driven. They should be aligned with the business goals, the business strategy, the talent management perspective. In fact, not only the professional perspective, but also the personal life stages, life goals that they need to be married to. Leaders engage as understand the business and the risk associated with talent management, who are committed partners in the talent management processes, thereby clear scope and purposes. Organization is clear about where it will focus, why will it focus its efforts, and how will it focus its effort is what we need to understand. Effective process and measurement, robust and consistent approaches, reliable information of leaders and individual employees then and there is what we need to achieve forward through. We say about the forecasting capability, the balance short-term needs and long-term goals as on when on basis, criteria to guide, make, and or by resourcing decisions as on when on basis. We are talking about talent development and talent deployment beyond assessment and planning, overcoming obstacles to cross organizational movement as on when on happening. How do you come across with it? Individual focus links to engagement, productivity, and retention is understood. Open career conversation, which is genuinely two-way, which is genuinely valid not only for the organization but also for the individual. So it has to be an individual focused thing. Leaders are to be enabled. Personal development is a role model for top. A whole organization mindset exists. Leaders are trained and developed to identify, coach, and nurture talent thereby. What are we looking into a talent management alignment with strategies? If you look into it, right from business strategy, which leads to human capital strategy in terms of planning, acquiring, engaging, developing, deploying, leading, and retaining people, we need to keep on measuring them because this will give us the talent result. The talent result in turn will give us the business result. But this is the talent management practice, as the case might be, right from business strategies to the human capital strategies of your employees, which result into a groomed talent result. The talent result leads to a business result. That is why we keep on saying the talent management alignment should be with the business strategy thereby. So let us talk about in numbers. Let's say the talent life cycle, what it goes around it. First and foremost thing, the first step is planning. 70% of the organization have a weak pipeline. They don't have sufficient people in the succession planning basis for each pivotal position that we are talking about it. Cost per day for operating without a player is approximately $7,000, and that's a whooping amount. Acquiring cost for poor hire is approximately 300,000, in a bracket of 300,000 to $500,000 impact. Now that's the cost for poor hire. Remember, we are not only paying for the salaries for which productivity is absolutely poor. Probably we are also looking into the advertisement, the pain that we have undertaken in appointing a bad hire. Engaging rate of efficiency at which most business operate because of poor engagement level is 30%. Average time required for a new managers to become productive is 6 months. That's the average time required for a new managers to become productive. That's 180 days, half a year. Deployment percentage of companies employ who are well suited for the roles is 1 out of every 5 employees. Only one people is suitable for every 5 people employed in the roles that they work for. It's 20%. Number of employees and the average number of managers action directly affect. Well, that's where the lead thing is all about is as a leader, how do we go across with it? And if you see, there are not much of an effective leaders here and there. Cost of losing a talented employee is 250,000 to 500,000 retention that goes around it. You look at the cost of a poor hire is 300, in between 300,000 and 500,000, but cost of losing a talented employee is again more or less on the same line. So we need to retain them. If we just retaining our employees, we are saving this money. We are saving this money altogether. Value of the top performers are 2 or 3 times the performance of an average performer. No doubt about it. The top performer can actually work for three employees, what the general three employees, the average three employees work together. And that is where the talent management and the numbers counts all together. Especially now, talent management is more and more critical in an uncertain economy. The luxury of misstep is gone. Every talent decision must be correct and accurate. The stakes are even higher when talent cannot be bought. On outside flexibility is reduced. Must look at the skills and competence needed to get the work done. More emphasis on increasing productivity through engagement, developing, deploying, recognizing, and retaining the employee that we have a greater capacity to execute. Doing more with less is the new standard. Cost Cross training and accelerated development becomes a major initiative. There is a big cultural component to these changes as we speak around here. The result, talent management is now gone strategic. Top down urgency in both the private sectors and the public sectors is evident. Confluence of researchers and the best practices are there to be supporting the evidence. Can succeed the marketplace without first succeeding in the workplace. The economy value innovations, agility, collaborations across borders, rapid response to changes and differentiated strategies, greater visibilities and accountability than ever before, especially with the new stakeholders. Example of new companies and organizations that are born human capital centric from the very start. The flood of younger employees with different expectation. Absolutely different. You see the diversity in the workforce. It needs to be accounted. It has the greater visibility, accountability, responsibility, and perception in the society per se. So you need to take them into your consideration. The human capital centric from the very start of it. Let us talk about the talent management adoption model. Look, what we are talking about is the vision leads to the infrastructure leads to the implementators, the leaders mindset is the vision, the infrastructure, the process, and the guiding coalition, the implementations as the managers and the employees as the initiator. This will result in high performance culture or an opt-in organization, as the case might be. The steps in the model, traditional organizations go through these steps sequentially. Over a period of many years, these organizations are known as talent academies because they represent a significant core competence for them. Many new organizations are born to a talent centric, high performing culture. They carefully architect this culture from the beginning. Different parts, but the steps are necessary as the case might be. Let me give you the steps one at a time. McKinsey research has established the importance. Numerous high-profile chief executive officers have demonstrated the behaviors. Rough benchmark is to at least have 20% of the time spent on the talent-related issues. Monthly talent reviews with business units are standard. The visionary leaders is what we are talking across time and again. Step two is the divisions of leaders, talent, mindset. The next leadership level in this organization should be all about active champion step forward. Looking in the future is what we aspire to go around it. Talent laboratories began to be established. Recognition is to be provided. Success has to be observed. In fact, it should be celebrated in particular department and groups. Compelling cases are to be made of those leaders who can be influenced as on when on basis. That is what divisions, leaders, talent mindset should always talk around it. Step number three is the process mindset. Building new infrastructure is needed in talent practices. All processes are to be used to drive operational consistency rather than talent optimization. Now, this is what happens. At times, you have system in place, a system which is dependable, relatable, successful, but it often at times constrains the development of talent thereby. So you need to understand what are the old processes are used to drive operational consistency rather than talent optimization. Process building is the domain of expert. Example, workforce planning, competency development, performance management, talent management, reviews and leadership as and when on basis the internal mobility per se. The fourth step is the guiding coalition. moving from the leadership level to the more operational ownership, not an HR activity. As a responsibility for the talent must be owned by the line and the leaders at every levels. The members of the coalition must be highly regarded by both leadership and peers alike. The coalition has to have the real power to shape the policies, the practices, thereby it what the guiding coalition is all about it. Let us move to step number 5, wherein the management is the talent leader. You look out what we are talking about here. The managers as talent leaders is a huge adjustment and hurdle for traditional organization. Why? Because they are constrained by it. Recognition and incentives are misaligned out here. The manager's role is key in engagement, key in productivity, and key in retention. The managers has the pivotal position in step number 5. Traditional roles and training is aimed at efficiency and control. Traditional roles is all about cost curtailment. Traditional roles is not about product development per se, not optimizing and leveraging talent. Significant personal transition must also overcome the managers for talent leadership. Let's move to employees as an initiator in step number 6. Remember the employee, the career development. The focus of an organization is the backbone. The backbone consists of the employee. If they become the initiator of talent, nothing can go wrong with this organization. An employee starts to drive conversations and action within a structure. Democratizations the process and personal brand building, forces greater transparency throughout the organization, emphasis from new generation as the case might be. That is what we are looking forward to it. Talent management adoption model, we are talking about vision, infrastructures implemented, implementators as the case might be. We are talking about high performance culture, we are talking about the visionary leadership, we are talking about process building, guiding coalition, we're talking managers who are empowered, we are talking about employees who are the initiators. Remember, metrics is easy and right. Yes, it is true, metrics is easy and right. Critical few and inconsequential are many. If we have this Pareto's principle of 80s and 20s, criticals are those 20 things which will control over the 80% of the result. One time and ongoing, summary and segmented, visible and actions. But at the same time, remember, metric is an epitome of success, at least in the measurement of success. But you must remember what Albert Einstein says, just because something can be counted doesn't mean it counts. So measure that thing. Critical few and inconsequential many is what metrics is all about it. Top 5 overall talent metrics are segmented into turnover data, readiness of levels for key position, if I may say so, segmented engagement levels, numbers of strategic critical job unfilled, percentage of inside versus outside hires for leadership, and critical roles as on when on basis. The 5 overall talent metrics. More specific contributing metrics are the quality of incoming candidate, the quality of hire, the segmented turnover within the first 2 years, the time to proficiency in a new job, the depth. Remember the depth of the talent pool for keys and feeder position, the pivotal position I'm talking about it, the number of people promoted outside of the department and the percentage of the first choice hire accepting the offer also is a very key determinant to the other measures of metric. The quality of incoming candidate, quality of hire, segmented turnover within the first 2 years, time to take to become proficient in the job, depth of talent pool, numbers of people promoted outside the department, and the percentage of first hire accepting it. Let us talk about few more metrics. Percentage of employee participating in a referral program. That means they are satisfied employee. Remember, percentage of employee in an individual learning program, ILP. Quality of hiring experiences, number of past employee returning, numbers of internal employee applying for open internal positions, jobs, tangible indicators of knowledge sharing, and internal participation in blogs, forums, and wikis as the case might be. So yes, I reiterate the fact that talent management should be aligned with the business strategy. It is the business strategy and the business result. In between, it is all about human capital and talent. If the talent is there and it has been promoted, managed, and probably sustained over a period of time, the organization is moving to a greater excellence in due course of time. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video till the very end.